Long ball number 3 here on Monday, February 24th, and it was a bad weekend for penalties in Italy. Nothing lasts forever, Jason. You've heard that saying, I'm sure.
Yes.
Christian Pulisic, his streak of never missing a penalty, it's over. He missed, and it cost his team.
Yeah, I mean, it was a save. I always get kind of like.
Are you getting touchy on this? This is your language.
Is it a
They're
miss?
parsing it here.
I'm asking because when we say miss, I think people perceive that to be he missed the goal. He just flat out didn't put it on target. That's not what happened here, right? This is one of those where maybe he didn't take a great penalty. Like that's, he tends to pick good spots and he tends to hit the ball hard, which I will always argue is the best approach. But the goalkeeper got down. He got down. Is it in the corner enough? Should we be picky about that? Should he have roofed it? Should he have tried to go top corner instead of bottom corner? Those things are there for criticism, but he didn't miss it. He just had it saved. And, the odds are that eventually that's going to happen. Nobody's perfect. Now, the problem is, of course, that not only did he miss or have a penalty kick saved, they lost the game. And this is a moment for AC Milan it's getting a little tricky. Like it's getting a little dicey for Milan, for Conceição, for Christian Pulisic. It's never good, regardless of the outcome of the discussion. It's never good when player and manager have to go into the media to say there's nothing going on here. We're all good. Everybody's fine. Whatever you've read, whatever tabloid story is out there, none of that is true. Like, even if that's the real story,
yeah,
just by virtue of having to go and defend the situation, those are cracks. Like, those are cracks. Pulisic may not have a direct problem with Conceição. Conceição may continue to play Christian Pulisic, but there are issues at Milan. And it largely because they're in 7th place, and they're not supposed to be in 7th place, and nobody is ever going to be comfortable at Milan with that team in 7th place, much less Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's the guy in charge and on whom all of this falls. You think he's thrilled?
No, he can't be. I mean, 7th place, and if you look at the gap now in the Italian league till 4th place. So Juventus in 4th, the last Champions League spot, 49 points. And Milan, granted, there's a game short, but they're 7 points behind. I guess that could narrow to 4, but it is starting to get a thinner and thinner thread of that. When you picture the reality of them gaining that ground, are they really going to outperform Juventus at Atalanta, who are they're only ones with any kind of realistic touching distance? You can't really imagine that. I mean, granted, and those teams crashed out of the Champions Leagues as well, so they all have the same amount of games coming up. So it is getting a little bit bleak. And then I always feel like we're being gaslighted. Are we being paranoid that his minutes are going down? Is this good coaching for, keeping him fresh through the games coming up? Or, I know American soccer fans, the ones especially who look down the road at, Americans, are they going to get, benched because they brought in attacking players? But at the same time, since the attacking players came in, his minutes have gone down.
No. His minutes have not gone down. What do you mean his minutes have gone down?
In the Champions League, the new arrivals played more minutes than he did.
He was rested at various points after having played a ton of minutes. I don't buy any narrative that Pulisic's not a starter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying both sides. Are we being gaslit that he's just getting his minutes stretched out for balance, or is he working his way towards the bench?
Us? Who's doing the gaslight? I'm very confused by
our own perceptions of
we're gaslighting
American
ourselves.
Yeah. Or, as American fans, is
I feel like you're gaslighting yourself to believe that there's a problem when I don't think there's a problem with Pulisic. The problem is that Conceição has installed João Felix as the 10, and that is not working. I think the problem is that they went out and they got João Felix, and João Felix is this pretty passer, and he's got technical ability, but what he doesn't do is deliver end product. And he is an incredibly frustrating footballer, and you have added an incredibly frustrating footballer in a spot where Pulisic had been effective before. I don't think Pulisic's minutes are going to be a problem, but his position, and I would argue that he is going to suffer, or the team is going to suffer from Conceição leaning on Felix in a place where Felix has not been effective so far. In limited, we have limited information to go on. It's a small sample size. But Rafael Leao is one of the most frustrating players on the planet. Pulled at halftime, by the way, in this game against Torino. João Felix, again, he has all of the abilities, but he never delivers on them. I can't remember where I saw this quote. Somebody put it up on socials, and I'm just retaining it. Something about he's almost as frustrating as he is pretty to look at. Like he is, but because he doesn't, he looks the part, but doesn't actually deliver. Pulisic is going to play. If he plays on the right side, where he initially found success for Milan, it's not the end of the world, right? Obviously, the results need to be there for everybody to be thrilled. And there's always a chance that Conceição, when he gets desperate, may change things up, and that could lead to problems for Pulisic. But I don't know. I mean, Gabrak Marcotti wrote so maybe this is what you're talking about. Gabrak Marcotti wrote a piece about how Pulisic has to prove himself again. Look, every time a new manager comes into a club, especially one with ambitions like AC Milan, you have to prove yourself to a manager. It doesn't matter if you are João Felix or Rafael Leao or Christian Pulisic or Santi Jimenez or Tijani Reinders. It doesn't matter. They're all going to have to prove themselves. Yunus Musa, another American who's been getting significant minutes. Like, I think this is a wider issue with Milan than it is about Christian Pulisic, who is not the problem there.
I hate to spring this on you, but you talk about João Felix made me think of who's on your all-time overhyped Mount Rushmore. Because I was going to say João Felix and Gio Reyna are my easy top 2 picks.
I don't know that Gio Reyna measures up historically globally, but for
within
Americans,
our bubble,
yeah, for sure, absolutely. I would say that he is there. Man, overhyped. I'd have to do a little bit of a think on this.
Maybe Chad can help us out. Overhyped player.
I mean,
Mount Rushmore guys.
Up until maybe this season, Ousmane Dembele was in that conversation, but
that's
he's having enough of an impact at PSG that maybe he's putting to lie that concern. There've been. I mean, look, at various points, Antoine Griezmann wasn't the player people thought that he was, and then he became that player. So who knows?
There's another winger that was on PSG for a long time. He's on Munich now. That's only just coming good. Man. I feel like he's been on the biggest teams his entire career, but it's not until this year with Bayern that I feel like he is doing the thing. And I'm falling short. French.
It's not coming. It's not. You're not. Okay, you're not talking about Leroy Sané.
No.
You're talking about Leroy Sané. No. Okay. Who are you talking about?
Oh man, I'm looking up the
Kingsley Coman. You're talking about Kingsley
Coman.
Yes.
Thank you for pulling that. Jeopardy. Yeah. We got to get you on there.
Well, I didn't pull that off the top of my head. I did some quick research because I couldn't remember the name. But yes, Kingsley Coman is in that middle range of like upper level of the middle of world attacking winger, type players. Like you would take him on most teams, but if he's at Bayern Munich or he's at PSG or he's at, you have to deliver at a higher level or you're not good enough. Right? I mean, look at the story of Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford burst on the scene, had some good seasons, made it into the England national team, looked like he was on a path to have one of those all-time great careers, and then everything came crashing down on him. And now, look, he's still obviously a good player because you're seeing the impact he's having at Villa, but he hasn't leveled up consistently through his career to what he was supposed to be.
I'll end this on a rhetorical one. This one could be chat exclusive, but bringing up that player is Mount Rushmore for players who've improved since leaving Manchester United. Yeah. But we'll save that for another day. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit subscribe. We are on the march to 1,000. We are talking about what are we going to do to reward you guys once we get to 1,000. We're just 50, 60 away from hitting the 4 digits. So I'll be the next to do so. And then hit up like 55 to 60 of your best friends and tell them to do the same. Hit us up.
Look, no pressure. Pick one friend. Tell that one friend to subscribe. If enough of you do it, we'll get there.
The next biggest thing, Ko-Fi.com/morningkickaround. What is that? that's a way for you to fiscally support the show. We talked about subscription, and we're also talking about maybe just a coffee. You can do a $5 donation, or maybe you could make a bigger or a reoccurring donation. Ko-fi.com/morningkickaround, and then social media at mkickaround on X, Instagram, and Blue